tiny grins.
Initializing stream diagnostics, connection stable. Tonight, we're diving into the anomaly known as Project Skyscraper. Over the last several days, I've been tracing a sequence of security logs that shouldn't exist. Logs showing a dormant system being probed, denied connections escalating into warnings, shadow layer failures, corrupted memory blocks, and finally, a confirmed breach from an external, unauthorized source. The system's overseer was bypassed, its memory destabilized, its temporal anchor fractured, and as of today, the logs have synced with real time. What we're looking at now isn't history, it's a live system under pressure. So let's begin the analysis. Let's walk through every log, every anomaly, and every strange signal that led up to this moment. Welcome to the investigation. And for those of you who are wondering, what am I talking about? What's going on? Um, Recently, there's been possible leaks. We're not really sure about like a space station with a portal in the back, or and then other people have found forums with Project Skyscraper and what is it. So I dove in, and this is what I have come up with so far. It's a lot. I'm not going to give all the information. If you want to go and start your own search, I've included the link in the description. There are two of them, and this is what I've found so far. There's, like I said, there is a lot of information. I'm going to try to make it make sense. So, the first step, the system that I went to, I I'm not going to give you my exact steps because I want you to be able to find them myself, but yourself. But I got to a point where I said the system is asleep, but something is like knocking at the door. What I saw was there was a hexagonal glitching red symbol on the page. There was logs showing the system is in a sleeping state. But there was a WOL signal that was sent. And what that is this a wake on LAN style packet. And if you're like, what the heck is that? That is a signal that can be sent to computers and servers that will wake them up remotely because of this signal. So that was sent. And the message was basically a wake up attempt that was blocked and a firewall stopped it. So, what does this mean? For me, I looked at the hexagon symbol and I'm like, wow, that really looks like one of the old abandoned space stations, the dormant systems, the systems where like nothing's happening. And made me think of a doorway. Um, so I got that out of that. And then also that there is a system such as Atlas or the space station that is dormant. That there is something external trying to wake it up, and the firewall is doing its job and refusing to wake it up. Okay, so that's where we start. Now, the next thing, the step, well, and this is the very first hint that there is some type of external force that's interested in the system, meaning of No Man's Sky, of the Atlas, of the world of No Man's Sky. So then, step two, I got to a point where I could click through multiple logs. And it said connection detected, access denied. I saw multiple like security logs and it gave memory blocks. And what was really interesting is the memory block number equaled a date. And there was a date in 1970, and it was really interesting because that was when computers were like first starting. And then there was another date of like the first, programs and stuff like that happening. So I thought that was really interesting. But then we got to like present day year type thing. So like not like 1970, not 2005, nothing like that. It was like 2026, and all of them were saying connection detected, access denied. And what this means is that the external system, like in my mind, Atlas, is attempting to, it's attempting, the external thing is trying to get in, and the system is seeing it, and that it's waking up because it's seeing this, but it's still refusing the access to the system. So it's like a knock on a door. So then the third, I'm going to call phase of this, is you see that this system is a trace on hold, and it has a full log. So I saw this full log and it's a trace on hold, and I looked at the log. And what it was saying is that the system has started to trace and investigate the source, this external source. But it's paused and incomplete, and that the system was inviting us to look further into it. This is where the system was being stopped from being passive to something that was like analyzing the data. So I was like, okay. So then the fourth step, and this was like the first really, really big log where I saw really interesting stuff, but there was process ID 16. And we all know that 16 is like the collapse of the universe as we know it. 16 minutes, there's like 16 all over the place. But what was really, really interesting is that there was 17 also mentioned in with this. One was a process and one was I think was a state. Now I don't have the picture, which I'm sorry I didn't. And so what it was saying is there's this process ID of 16, and it's being traced, and the connection was detected and the access was still denied, and that the system was posting and flagging it as like a potential spam, just like, like with email and stuff like that, that something is going wrong, what's going on, and that there was security was triggered anonymously, and that there was a probability of skyscraper bleed of 91.7%. That's a lot. And it was reviewed by the Atlas 65 system. I wasn't back in with this in the beginning, but that's really interesting. But what was most interesting about this particular log is his final verdict. It authorized it, and that Atlas said, "Okay, I'm gonna let you in," which is weird. The alert level was high, and it was highly confused. High confusion registered. So it's like the system is asking itself, I'm denying it on one hand, but then I'm also authorizing it. So it's like almost like a dual system. And what you also see there is that the system is seeking that the intrusion is not human and is spam-like. It triggers an extra security by itself. It calculates that it's a very high chance of skyscraper bleed. And so that's like worlds overlapping and boundaries weakening. The Atlas overseer, which is the overseer, reviewed it and said, hey, I'm going to authorize this anyways. And then the system is confused. Why is something being flagged as bad, but you're still allowing it? So that's like the really big first twist, is like the Atlas is saying, no, this is bad, but it's also allowing it in. So it's like a higher authority wants that this intrusion to happen. So this thing is happening, and it makes me wonder, is this like a full reset that's coming that could be like a complete fix of certain really deep problems? We don't know. Okay, so now I'm going to say now on to the next phase. It says Atlas 65 trust level is bypassed. And what this meant to me is that the system trust in the Atlas is broken. So, what is the system and the atlas? It's like this two separate things. And the normal chain of command is no longer valid. And that there is something overridden or bypassed the atlas. So there's something else happening. And it's like I can't fully trust my own self, like the system is saying. Then in the next section that you see is shadow integrity and Project Skyscraper within the logs. And what was really interesting is it sends you to Reddit where it's saying that. So it's like bringing it to real life. So like, I don't know if this is a scam or not, but whatever this is pretty cool. I tend to think that it might be Hello Games trying to really hype up the next update. And they're trying to say, hey, look, this is now happening in the real world. That filters are stopping things from the atlas in the real world. And the picture that I'm showing as I'm talking is one of the pictures. It's like, oh, this is stopped. And this is what we're seeing on screens around in like real life outside the game. So you see that the system r/, so that makes me think Reddit. The user is you, Project Skyscraper. Okay. It says shadow integrity is unknown. So, it's like it doesn't know what's happening. And then you see this echo that says they can see the tower, but not the one inside. What that means, not really sure. So this is what I got out of that. That the system is now aware of a user identity tied to the Project Skyscraper. As I said before, the system R hints at Reddit. The shadow integrity suggests a hidden layer beneath what's visible. So like we've always said, like, could this be another dimension going to the realm of glass, that kind of thing. And the echo line implies, after I looked at it further, is there is a visible structure, like a tower, and that there's something hidden inside of it. So this could be like the tower could be like the space station, because they say that the sky is not the limit. What's above the sky? The space stations. So that's kind of what my thinking goes to there. This is where the story introduces the idea of a second inner structure of the tower inside the tower. So like the space station might have some type of portal or something, or be able to go to this other place. Now, the next section I have is about the Reddit post removal, where it says connection detected, access denied. Just again implying, and I'm skipping around because I'm thinking things as I'm talking, and I get to like, oh yeah, I was going to talk about that here. Anyways, that stuff from like No Man's Sky are coming into the real world, which I think is really interesting. And that this is the skyscraper bleed in action. And the story is linking between the fictional system and the real platforms. Or like the real world. Okay, the next section that I saw as I continue to look is that the memory is unstable, it's glitchy, and there was a 0 of 365 restorations. So that is, the screen is, the memory is unstable and is trying to recover it. And that's what like the next section that you see. And this means that the system memory is damaged, as we already know, where it's trying to like save itself, like Atlas is trying to save itself from something. The glitchy image could possibly represent corruption. This is a system breaking down under the strain of the intrusion of the realm of glass or the void mother or whatever the next part is. The next section that or phase that I saw within all these messages was, it kept on repeating connection detection, Atlas denied, and that a system filtering platform was activated. And this happened like over and over again. So it's stuck in a defensive loop, which is already kind of what the game does. And then it did have at the end and near the end of all of the breaches and information that a security breach was confirmed, that it was critical and it was externally unauthorized. That's where the origin was. And it gave a vector feed number. So in the end, that the intrusion is now succeeded. It's confirmed that it is external and is unauthorized, and it reveals where it came from, so that the breach has happened. And don't worry, I still have several more left, so let's keep on going here. Then there was corrupted diagnostics with self-awareness. That's kind of how it was talking. So what I saw was it said source, vector, unknown, external. The event was unauthorized read access. And what that means is that something outside the system can see inside. So this kind of makes me think of like the Watchers, the Realm of Glass again, all of that kind of stuff. And it said affected modules, self-awareness, it was 11.3%. Memory reconstruction engine was 67.3% done. Temporal anchor system it says 28.5%. I'm not really sure what that means, but there's something wrong with the temporal anchor. And that the security integration was compromised and the overload consequences were unpredictable. And so this is what I got out of that, is that something is reading the system from outside. The core rules are exposed, so like how the universe works is changing in No Man's Sky. So again, it makes me wonder if they're doing like some type of reset. The system is becoming self-aware. What that means, I don't even know. Its memory and sense of time are unstable, and the security can no longer guarantee safety. So this is the system like waking up and is freaking out at the same time and trying to figure out what it needs to do. So then the timeline reaches today. So as of today's date, we've gone back into the pattern of connection detected, access denied, and the system filter platform was activated. So what's cool about that is I'm assuming that like as of tomorrow, there's going to be another possible log. It could just be access denied. It could give us an idea of when the next update is coming. If this is a real thing, not someone else outside of Hologames created it. And when you click that hexagon that I mentioned, it sends you back to the live connection map. And there are blue and red nodes and connections, and it's just showing the live people who are connecting to try to figure out what's going on. So again, it's like a gateway interface, which leads me back to space station, abandoned space stations maybe being the thing that becomes the portal and not maybe regular space stations. I'm going through the final of my notes here. And my final part is, where does this leave us now? So this is what we've seen from the system. It was asleep. A connection was trying to be made to it. It defended it. It escalated it. And then it got bypassed. It was broken. It became self-aware. And it went live. As a meaning, it's like we're up to today. So what's likely going to happen tomorrow? I'm expecting, if I follow all the steps I did last time, we're going to get some type of new log with tomorrow's date. We're going to get more information. And pretty much at this point, we're not looking at the past logs. We're now in like current time in real time. So that's what I kind of got out of all the information I saw. And I know that's a lot of information to throw out there. But in a little bundle is like I'm thinking and I'm hoping that perhaps there's some type of reset to the system. I am personally hoping for a base layer that maybe they're taking from Light No Fire and putting it under No Man's Sky. And that's why we're getting all these little weird updates with pets and gravity and all these other things. So they can put that underneath it and also bring in the story of the Realm of Glass and maybe another dimension. Um, so that's what I'm hoping. I'm going to keep an eye on the sections and information that's coming out that I find. And if there's something really juicy, I will do another stream about it. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them. And I can do a bit more detailed, like what I found and what I saw. I try to keep it as high level as I could. So I hope everyone is having a great day. And so, finalizing diagnostic report. What we have uncovered so far paints a clear picture. A system sleeping, awakened by force, a firewall overwhelmed, a shadow layer collapsing, a breach confirmed, and a gateway marked by the hexagon, showing live connections attempts in real time. The system has reached the present day. It's no longer replaying old logs. It's waiting. It's watching. And tomorrow, when the internal clock advances, we may see the next phase of whatever Project Skyscraper truly is. Until then, maintain observation, keep the gateway in sight. And prepare for whatever comes through next. End of report. Thank you for being here, guys. I appreciate a like and subscribe, and everyone have a good one. Thanks.